country lives beyond its means, and they can't tax anymore, and their borrowing power is lost, which is what's happened to our country, because we spend $800 billion a year more than we produce. What happens then is the government resorts to printing money. And since we removed the backing of our currency, we print money at will, and it's only normal and natural and logical to figure, well, if you print too much money, the value of the dollar is going down. That's what inflation is. Then the prices go up. Most people just look at prices, but it's the printing of the money that counts. But when you go to the gas station, if you pay more and more for your gasoline or for your energy supply and your electric bills, then you have to say, well, that's a tax, really, because the government printed too much money. That's a consequence of a foreign policy which is runaway, as well as a domestic policy, runaway spending, and the government resorts to spending. That's why I talked so much about the Federal Reserve System and why we have to change our monetary system. The monetary issue is growing in importance and significance as people understand it. Every single day, you know, we have to spend those dollars and we get less for it, and when we get paid with dollars that's losing value. So when the economic pundits up in Washington start talking about, you know, it's probably going to be an advantage if we could only have a weaker dollar, it will help our exports. I've never heard anything more bizarre than saying to the American people, what we want to really do is reduce the purchasing power of your dollar and you're going to get rich over this. I mean, some of the economic policies that we have put up with for so many years makes no sense whatsoever. I think the fundamentals of monetary policy are very simple and easily understood. But deficit spending is so easy to understand too. How can a country thrive on deficits forever? This whole notion that we can continue to borrow $800 billion a year from countries that, you know, that we subsidize, we send money over, we put troops over there, and we pay them, and our dollars flow overseas, our jobs flow overseas, and then we have to borrow back these $800 billion every year. There's a limit to this, and that's what's happening, and that's why in the boom part of a cycle that the Federal Reserve creates, everybody's fine. You know, when the real estate prices are going up, fine and dandy, we all thrive. But then some people come along and all of a sudden the prices crash, as they did in the NASDAQ bubble. It's all explained, and it's all predictable, and it all is related to that Federal Reserve System and excessive government spending. So the answer to I've argued many times that the easiest place to cut the overseas spending without touching some individuals here in our country that have become dependent, I think unfortunately become dependent on government handouts. I don't believe that's where we should attack. And yet we have seen some cuts in budgets here at home. At the same time, we cut nothing overseas. You know, we increase these budgets overseas, and we're spending $1 trillion on our empire. And I say it's time to end our empire and time to bring our people home. People to wake up and realize that we're tired of being taxed to bomb countries, then being taxed to rebuild the same countries. At the same time, our bridges and our infrastructure is falling down here at home. I think it should be over.